Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your place to really cut through the noise and get straight to the heart of things.
Yeah, digging into what really matters from, all the info out there.
And today, we are jumping into something really fascinating. It's like the invisible architecture of American life, the unspoken rules of the culture.
Hmm.
These aren't laws you'll find written down anywhere, but they're like these subtle norms, these social codes that most people follow, often without even realizing it.
Right. But they're absolutely crucial for, well, just getting by day to day.
Exactly, whether you've lived here forever or you're just trying to figure things out. So our mission today, a shortcut, kind of, to understanding this really complex social stuff. Okay, let's unpack this.
What's fascinating here, I think, is just how much these unspoken rules really shape our interactions every single day.
Right.
They help prevent awkwardness, sure, but they also reflect some pretty deep cultural values. They're not laws, like you said, but think of them more as social expectations, powerful ones. And when someone crosses one of these invisible lines, it's not just a small thing. It can cause real confusion, discomfort,
Yeah.
sometimes even actual offense.
Yeah, I can see
They're
that.
like the invisible guardrails,
Yeah,
keeping things moving smoothly even if we don't really talk about them much.
totally. And for this deep dive, our main source is this great BuzzFeed article. It's called People Are Sharing Unspoken Rules of American Culture. And I follow most of these without even realizing it.
Oh, nice. Community source stuff is often the best for this kind of thing.
It really is.
Yeah.
Compiled by Fabiana Buontempo, drawing from the BuzzFeed community, so it's packed with real insights from real people.
Yeah,
You know those little things where someone points it out and you're like, oh yeah, I totally do that.
definitely.
So let's dive in with a big one, personal boundaries, specifically around money.
Right.
One person, Silky Snail 71, shared this. Don't ask people how much they paid for their house or big purchases. That feels so true. It touches on that wider sense of personal space, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, and it's really deeply ingrained. I think that rule exists because of this strong sense of American individualism. Personal finances are just seen as very, very private.
Almost sacred.
Yeah, kinda. It's not just about the dollar amount. It's about respecting someone's autonomy. Their right to keep parts of their life under wraps. Asking about big buys can feel nosy, like you're prying into their success or maybe their struggles.
Right. I've seen people get really awkward about
Oh,
it.
yeah. Even close friends might sort of dance around it, talking about the market or saying they got a good deal instead of giving a number. And speaking of space, Alfiab in the article really stressed this. The personal space rules can't be emphasized enough. Just keep your distance.
The physical bubble.
Exactly.
Oh,
And it's not just standing in line, it's physical touch, too. Like ClanApp 94 reminds us, don't ever touch a pregnant person's belly.
Oh, definitely not. Unless invited.
Right. And Claire Freeman 1 adds a super specific but important one, don't touch a cop's canine dog without asking.
That's a good one. Never thought about it, but
Yeah.
makes total sense.
They seem like maybe small things, but they all tie back to this core idea, respect for autonomy. Your physical self, your bubble, who touches you. And yeah, with the canine, also safety.
That canine rule is brilliant, so specific, but it just perfectly captures that idea of respecting boundaries in a really concrete way. And it's not just about physical space right now, is it? It's also about time and home. Psychic Dog 393 brought this up. Do not show up at people's houses to visit them without asking them first.
Oh, yeah. Big one.
Americans will not put up with that.
Mm.
Also, do not call American people late at night unless it's an emergency.
Mm.
That really underlines the importance of planning, respecting private time.
It really does. It points to this strong cultural focus on scheduling things, having control over your own time, especially your leisure time.
Right.
In lots of other cultures, just dropping by is normal, it's friendly. But here it can feel like a major intrusion on someone's planned evening or weekend.
I can imagine the panic if someone just showed up with luggage.
It happens. I knew a family whose relatives did exactly that. Showed up from overseas, bags packed, expecting to stay for a week, no warning. And I mean, it was probably meant well, but it caused this immediate wave of awkwardness and stress.
Wow.
It just shows how much we see our homes as these private sanctuaries. You generally need an invite.
That's such a clear example of how these rules can cause like actual cultural clashes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift from personal boundaries to public ones. How we act in shared spaces. This is where some really strong rules pop up. Break these, and people notice. Sleeping Tooth 38 put it bluntly. Do not attempt to cut the line. I know I was here before you.
Agrees. Oh, the line cutting thing. It taps into something primal.
It really does.
Yeah.
What is it about cutting in line that just feels so wrong here?
Well, it's not just about being impatient, right? It's like a direct attack on this deep-seated idea of fairness, equity. There's this unspoken agreement in public. Everyone waits their turn. If you cut, you're basically saying your time is more important than everyone else's, and that comes across as super disrespectful, entitled.
It undermines the whole system.
Messes with the whole civil interaction thing. And then there's the more specific rule from Mellahawk 92, the classic urinal etiquette. Unless there isn't one available, choose a urinal which is not next to one being used.
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
It's not just privacy, right? It's like courtesy.
It is. It's about keeping a comfortable distance in a place where space is already limited. It's this shared understanding, kind of common decency, a small thing, but it shows how we navigate these slightly awkward public situations. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, these little actions, respecting lines, the urinal gap, they all help maintain social order, even without being written down. Think about just moving around. Sleeping Truck 52 mentions we walk on the right side of the sidewalk, the same way we drive.
Keeps things flowing.
Yeah, creates predictability, safety, stops us all bumping into each other constantly.
It's amazing how those little things prevent chaos. And speaking of interactions, how we get someone's attention matters too. Chelsea Jack shared this. My son recently learned how to snap his fingers, and we had to have a talk about how doing so to get someone's attention is considered rude.
Oof, yeah, the finger snap.
I mean, it feels wrong, right? You wouldn't snap at a friend. It feels so dismissive. But then Rob Cummings Zombie, who is a waitress, points out,
Yeah.
it's not rude to call your waiter over if you do it nicely. A simple, excuse me, if they're nearby, will do.
Right, it's all about how you do it, respectful engagement.
Exactly.
Absolutely. The difference is all about the perceived power dynamic, the respect it signals. Snapping feels, well, demeaning, like you're treating the person as beneath you. It puts up a wall. But a polite, excuse me, that acknowledges them, their time, treats them as an equal. It's subtle, but it's a powerful signal in service situations. Shouting across a room is another no-no usually. A quiet wave, eye contact, or just walking closer often works better.
Good point. Okay, let's pivot again. Let's talk about the practical stuff. Money, bureaucracy in the U.S. One thing that really throws newcomers, like Elie Forme mentioned coming from Europe, is pricing. Prices listed do not include taxes in the U.S., whereas in Europe, they're included.
Ah, the sticker shock at the register.
Solely. You often don't know the real final price until you're actually paying.
Yeah, that's a big difference, and it definitely affects how you budget, how you perceive the cost. It forces you to do this mental math, right, if you're used to the price being the price.
Why is it like that here?
Well, often it comes down to history and how taxes work. The U.S. has this really fragmented sales tax system. States, counties, even cities have their own rates. So for a big retailer operating everywhere, putting one single price with tax included on everything is really hard. It reflects that American preference for local control over, say, a standardized national approach you see in Europe.
That makes sense. It means you need to be ready for that jump at the end.
Always. And then there's the paperwork side of life. Ingrid Concher-Zig advises basically, get a license for anything you can think of.
Huh. It feels like that sometimes. Driving, fishing, running a business, permits, licenses everywhere. It seems complex.
It can definitely feel complex. Some argue, though, that it's all there for good reasons, safety standards, quality control, that kind of thing.
So what's the trade-off, you think, in terms of these unspoken rules?
Well, that's a great point. It feels like a bit of a double-edged sword based on what people shared. On one hand, yeah, licenses can ensure some basic level of safety or quality. Think construction or healthcare or even food trucks, accountability.
Sure.
But on the other hand, the sheer number of them, the complexity, it can be a real maze, especially for small businesses or just individuals trying to do something like, I don't know, renovate their kitchen. The unspoken rule is, find out what permits you need before you start or you'll regret it.
Right. Fines, delays.
Yeah. Exactly. It suggests this cultural preference for regulation, for accountability, even if it makes daily life kind of frustrating sometimes without a guide.
Okay, that tracks. But honestly, nothing highlights the unique financial side of America. Like this ambulance story from Katie's 156.
Yeah.
This one,
Yeah.
it's really eye-opening, maybe alarming. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh.
So someone was having an aneurysm.
Yeah.
In their chest. Their friends, knowing how crazy expensive ambulances are, actually drove them to the ER themselves.
No. Whoa.
Believing it, faster and cheaper.
Yeah.
But then the person needed transferring to another hospital. Bad weather meant no helicopter, which would have been even more expensive, so ambulance it was.
Okay.
Get this. That single 20-minute ambulance ride cost almost twice as much as the emergency surgery at 2 a.m., 2 CCAT scans, 6 blood transfusions, 2 MRIs, a week in the ICU, plus all the other procedures, tests, therapy combined.
No way. Twice as much as all of that.
Yep, and this person apparently had really good insurance.
Staggering.
So the advice from the community member was, look, if a person has a pulse and can converse with you, consider taking them yourself. It could save them tens of thousands of dollars. That's a terrifying unspoken rule for navigating healthcare.
That story is just chilling. It perfectly shows the incredibly high costs in the U.S. healthcare system and how those costs force people into making these intense personal decisions, even in life or death moments, even with insurance.
Right.
The unspoken rule there isn't really a social custom. It's forced by the system itself. Financial survival has to be part of your medical emergency plan. That's almost unthinkable elsewhere.
It really makes you stop and think. Okay, let's shift gears. Onto the road. Rules are written down, obviously, but how we interpret them, that's different. Angry Mouse shared that those speed limit signs technically indicate the maximum speed, practically interpreted to mean the minimum speed.
Agrees. The flow of traffic rule.
Yeah, going the actual speed limit sometimes feels like you're blocking everyone.
It's a fascinating observation. It reflects maybe a cultural focus on efficiency and often, let's be honest, a sort of relaxed view on strict enforcement within limits.
True.
Plus, there's a safety argument too, right? Driving way slower than everyone else can actually be dangerous. You're expected to keep up. But I wonder, does that cause issues for people who do stick to the limit? Or for new drivers?
I bet it does. It's definitely something you learn by watching, not reading the manual. And on safety, Glittery Magazine 68 had a great tip for getting pulled over at night. Turn on your don't overhead light and keep both hands on the wheel until the officer is at your window. It shows you have their safety in mind.
That's really solid advice. It speaks volumes, doesn't it? It's about de-escalation in what can be a tense situation.
How so?
It signals respect, compliance, that you're not a threat. It acknowledges the officer's perspective and safety concerns. It can genuinely change the tone of the whole interaction. It's a very pragmatic rule, born from awareness of those power dynamics.
Yeah, really practical stuff you don't get taught officially. Okay, let's wrap with one last communication quirk, also from Chelsea Jack. The classic, how are you?
Ah, yes, the greeting versus the question.
Exactly. They point out asking, how are you,
Yeah.
at the start of a conversation is a social nicety. We don't actually want an answer beyond a neutral response like fine, but if you're asking in the middle of a conversation, and especially if it's with a friend, that is an invitation to truthfully open up.
The timing is everything.
It completely changes the meaning. I've definitely done the overshare with the cashier who just wanted to, fine, thanks.
Agrees. Oh, totally relatable. And it perfectly shows that difference between what linguists call phatic communication, just social grease, basically, and a real question.
Right. Verbal handshake.
Exactly. It's a ritual. Get the timing or the context wrong, and yeah, you get awkward oversharing, or you might seem cold if you give a long answer when a short one was expected. Context is key. And one final one, looping back to public spaces. Ingrid Concha-Herzig says, do not stay at a table in a restaurant for over an hour.
The lingering rule ties back to that efficiency thing, maybe.
I think so. It's not necessarily about being rushed out the door, but it is about being aware that the restaurant needs to turn tables over, especially when they're busy.
It affects their business.
Right. Your lingering impacts other waiting customers. And yeah, the restaurant's bottom line, it's that unspoken agreement. Be considerate of the business and other people waiting.
So when you put it all together, what does this all mean for you listening? We've covered a ton of ground today. These unspoken rules, from money privacy and personal space to line etiquette, ambulance costs, even just saying, how are you?
They're everywhere.
They really are.
Yeah.
Permeating every part of American life. And most of us, we just follow them automatically. Instinctively, almost.
Yeah, and understanding these norms is just, it's incredibly helpful. Whether you're new here, just visiting, or even if you've lived here your whole life and just want to be more aware of the cultural creates around you.
Seeing the invisible structure.
Exactly. These invisible guides, they shape so much, often in ways we don't even realize. They provide this roadmap for smooth interactions. So for you, the listener, maybe something to think about.
Yeah.
What other unspoken rules have you noticed in your own town, your community, or maybe when you've traveled somewhere else? Rules we didn't even touch on today? How do these subtle codes actually shape our societies, our daily lives in ways we rarely stop to think about or even put into words?
That's a great question to chew on.
Yeah.
Keep observing, keep questioning. There's always more to learn about the world around us.